Hello everyone, and welcome back to another speeddraw. I am, of course, your Eldritch Doctor, dear darling honey boy, and today I've drawn the hot men, the fan favorites, from my new favorite indie game, Do No Harm, for the uninitiated. Do No Harm is a Lovecraftian doctor simulator where you cure your patient's mysterious ailments and keep your eye out for anomalies. This video contains spoilers of themes, but no context. See it as a bit of, like, enticement, if you may. All I'm gonna say is it's very good, and I have been in awe on every ending. I think there's like 12 endings. And I decided to draw the hot boys. The hot men, maybe. Because I cannot help myself. I can't help myself but draw hot men. We're gonna jump right into it with who's only known as the priest. Let's go. This funky looking man is the absolute fan favorite, I'd say. But I mean, look at him, of course he is. I've been known to be very normal about this man as well. Oh my god, it's my boy. Fucking look at him. Some info dumping. Oh, but before that, hello, father. Would, if it wasn't for that pesky need to be pious. Listen. I can do horrible things. I think that dude's into some weird shit. I wish, at least. But you can see here I'm doing a lot of sketching, a lot of pose work, trying to figure out what I wanted to do, because as much as I hate to say it, before this I spent 9.5 hours on a piece that I didn't like painterly, and then I got so upset that I was just like, no, I'm gonna throw this away. I'm gonna make a new one. The reason I got mad at it was because of how I made the face. Wasn't hot enough. But yeah, here I'm coming in with the hand stretched out pose. It feels it feels fitting. So essentially, this guy he just wants you to do what's best for his congregation and listen to him, which, you know, it's hard to say no for some people. So we're going to listen to Daddy. I was about to say, we're gonna listen to Father. What did I do? God, I'm so preoccupied with Father Daddy. I can't. I'm just gonna call him that now. Father Daddy. And also you can see it's very jumpy. I edited away a lot, but that's because both of these speed draws are pretty long. You can see on the portraits here, their lower halves are covered, so you can't really see the outfit. So I read the wide shoulders as just like a padded suit of some kind. But then I saw the reference images, and of course it is like the classic priest outfit with the shoulder covering, which I think would be very fun to draw, but I'm not mad about missing it. I also missed the fact that the cross was upside down, which I should have figured, but you know, it's not way too bad. I got really happy with this face. I will futz with it a lot, naturally. I feel like I got those heavy-lidded eyes, those bedroom eyes. I feel like got pretty good. You give me a middle-aged man with like a bit of graying hair and a religious motif. Man, my weaknesses. This game has really, it's like they have entered my brain, taken the schematics, and just made the game after that. Every damn theme that I'm into has been in it. So, buy the damn game, really. It's not super scary horror. It's more themes. It's like no jump scares or overly upsetting imagery. I find it quite relaxing and fun. No, of course I find it fun, but I find it quite relaxing and cozy. I struggled a bit with his beard just because it kind of overlapped with the collar a bit. But yeah, you can see the sketch taking form. Tentacles for no reason, I promise. But yeah, very normal about this guy. Okay, are you going to fuck me though? Sounds like you are. Father Daddy says no. And I'm going to listen to Father Daddy. But have you considered Father Daddy though? But there's... Hello. I had this thought, like, looking at this sketch and looking at the painting I did earlier. I was like, you know what this is missing? Some foreshortened hands. And sex appeal, but I decided to include this absolute choice footage of things you usually miss with how I futzed with the positioning of the cross, because as I think if you've seen some of my earlier videos, tangenting is my worst, which is tangenting is when there's a lot of lines overlapping in a way that doesn't really communicate perspective, and it makes it visually busy and looks weird. So I'm very picky with that for some reason. You can see I came in and I did a hand that I was perfectly happy with, and then I just took it away. I futzed a bunch with the hands, but I really wanted it to get them right. The one on like the chest, I was like, can we get it to look like gentle? It just weirdly specific with that kind of stuff. I was really happy with like the shoulder and the outstretched hand there. I think what made me futz with the outstretched hand, that when I said like, oh, it looked good, why did I change it? It's because to me, I feel like when I make an outstretched hand, I often make the fingers more bent than I intend to, just because it's easier in perspective. But I ended up just following the sketch closer, as I always should do, but never do. This was even worse in the next one. I'll tell you about it. I like his design. He is incredibly character design. Many of the major characters in this game is very character design, and I love that. It's so charming. It's like personally appealing to me. I've started to do some canvas flipping too, and it can be good and it can be bad. You know, it's great when I wonder like, oh, if something looks wrong, what's wrong? But it can also lead to like excessive futzing. Because it looks fine either way. The eyes was my biggest focus. I looking at him as is. I feel like that's a lot. Also, if you want like a strong impression, I feel like eyes is very important. This game has like colored line art. What I usually do when I have colored line art is that I keep the eyes black, or the eye outline black, so you can see it more for some reason. I felt like I got the expression pretty I'm happy with the expression. I thought that was going to be harder. As well as the like 3D shape of the nose. I enjoyed that. But yeah, I forgot his fucking glasses, so I had to do those. I made all the glasses related things on a different layer, and I'm pretty happy that I did that. I also futzed a lot with the glasses because I'm like, I want to get the perspective on this right. It looks completely fine. I am so back to my old ways with these two. I cannot draw attractive characters in any form of reasonable manner. I really want that stuff to be perfect. I had fun with this one, I think. I don't think there was too much suffering involved. Maybe a little bit. It was a while since I did it, actually. I started, of course, with color picking. That's my main tactic every time. And then I go in and change the color a bit. But, you know, I like his color scheme. I have some unfortunate news, and I'll tell you this a bit before it happens, and it's that I rendered this piece for 3 hours, and then I looked over to see, like, oh yeah, how long have I actually, like, more exactly been working on this? I looked over to OBS and I realized that I hadn't recorded it, and it was literally like the entire rendering process, and it's so sad because I thought it would probably be a very, like, nice and interesting thing to watch. The rendering process is, like, to me, the best footage to leave in a speed draw. In my case, at least, because of how I draw. But essentially, I did a lot of layers of shading. You can see I go in with, I think I have 2 shadow layers and 1 light layer. And it's because I looked at like the reference, and I think I put the conclusion that there is multiple layers of shading, but I don't know. And for the rendering that you won't see, I just took my favorite brush. I took my blend 30-30-40, and I just went in and blended out the shadows. You know, move it around a bit with a brush. And I simply put, that's it. And I fixed with, like, the layers. Which color did I want? Do I want it on a multiply? Do I want it on an overlay? And so on. I had a bit of a hard time figuring out what I wanted to do for the lighting, because I spent so much time, and I was so happy with the the rendering that you can't see me doing. So I didn't want to mellow it out too much with additional lighting layers, but I think it turned out well. I think I cranked the like opacity on the shading layers later, just to get even more depth. I'm a guy who likes my contrast, and I went in and did all the suckers on the tentacles. I really like drawing tentacles. I think it's very fun, but I'm, like, particular with the shapes. I'm very particular with shapes in general. I think that's a good conclusion to say. Because I'm like, the flow, the shapes, does it look like an actual octopus thing? And I'm like, yeah, it's stupid, but sometimes it's worth it. Sometimes it makes it worse, but not this time, I wouldn't say. Unless I go back to the ones I didn't fix, and I did. Great. There I go in and kind of work with what gradients do I want to have in the background, and so on. I think a big part with why I mixed with the tentacles as well is because of the tangenting thing. You can see I go in and do not, like, rim lighting, but I go and take away the shading on, like, the outline of most objects or things that are gonna overlap. So it's on the outside of him in general. I think on the shirt, at least. I don't think I did it on the hair, but also on the sleeves just to make them stand out from the rest of the outfit. I also wanted to see if I should do the same thing on the fingers of the hand on the chest, just to kind of give the illusion of reflected light of the white parts of the shirt, but I didn't. Go in, do a bit of highlights on the metal parts, and the glasses and the eyes, just a little bit of extra love. I felt like it was a bit like open and a bit, I don't know, I felt like something was missing, so I tried to go in with like a gold rim of some kind, but I decided to take it away. I also added like a little bit of extra color on the glasses, just because I felt like they were a bit dull. Afterwards, I cranked the shadow layers up, just so you can see it better. In the end, I'm very happy with it. I feel like it captured the energy I wanted. I felt like it was attractive enough. I like the outstretched arm, especially the shoulder. I feel like the rendering turned out very good on that one. As well as the flowing fabric. I looked up the name of that, but I can't remember it now. And of course, the eyes and the nose. I feel like it really got the angle of the face, as well as the cheekbones. But again, the lower part of his outfit, I really pulled out of my ass, as I've been known to do for some reason. If I had a nickel for every time I pulled the lower half of a character out of my ass, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. Of course, it took time. I don't know if it wasn't a lot of bullshittery as far as like doing and redoing things. It was more futzing with shapes over a long period of time. It took me like 13 and a half hours. I feel like that is usually where I end up in pieces that takes a long time, is around 13 and a half. Somehow. But yeah, I felt like with the shading and stuff, I wasn't too picky. Yeah. Next hot man up is Clark Riceby. Let's get into it. First up, you can see that I did the sketch on paper, and it was because I was waiting for a video to export, and I was like, oh yeah, we're just gonna sit down and doodle up something while I wait. And I just started doodling up poses for this drawing, and made something I really, really liked. So I just put in the sketchbook page, and I will put up on screen the original tests I did too. So I won't say anything, but I feel like there's a lot of things inferred by by the drawing. This guy is really funny. I think, or like in the beginning, he really cracked me up because he comes in, he just comes in going, "Hey, honey pie, my tummy hurts because I eat so much meat," and you're like, okay. Just decide if you will help this weird man. As you can see, he's incredibly character design. My first thought when seeing him was like, whoever made Clark really loves him. And I felt like I really want to do that justice. Just because, again, he looks so loved. I don't really know what to tell you. It looks so Lorbo, like personal Lorbo. So since I wanted to capture the likeness, there will be a lot of figuring out the face, because I wanted to get it like accurate to the reference. Since since he looks, he has a specific look to him, and I think especially I was picky with the nose, since it's pretty prominent. The biggest problem, I think, with the process is how, like, how much I futzed. Really, I adored the original, like, very rough sketch that I did, and I wanted to translate it, and instead of just fucking doing it, I went through phases of futzing, and doing and redoing things. I think specifically the legs, because I had this perspective in mind. I really wanted it to have this kind of bird's eye perspective, but very light. So, like, the tapering of the legs and the shape of the legs became a hang up, big time. As well as the face. Surprisingly, the hands. Surprisingly, the hand that he's, the hand he's holding up was surprisingly less of a problem than I thought. It was a nice shape. The perspective on the knife, however, was something I struggled with. In the end, I just, like, went with how there was in the original pose, I think, just because, I really should keep to doing that, and that just became even worse later. I'll tell you about it. I really felt like the flow and the playfulness of the pose. I was very much into it. You'll get more context as to what he's doing. But yeah, he's just, we got our middle-aged man, and now we get our pretty boy. And honestly, also, the only thing that I can think about when I look at this piece, and I don't really know when it came into my mind, if it wasn't, like, immediately, my brain just kept on saying absolute whore behavior. But that's why we're here, aren't we? And I'm a be honest with you, and a bit tempting maybe, that I wasn't, besides thinking that he looked charming, I wasn't way too into him before, and I was like, you got me. I also so maniacally worked on this piece, like, I almost got late to work because I was just going. This is the only thing on my brain was just getting this done. I really like how the hand looks at this stage, but I just, like, I think I just changed it at some point because I'm me, I guess. So now you can see I'm just going back to tracing over the first sketch again. I don't know why, but I sure am. I think maybe it was the perspective again. I don't know. I struggled a bit. I struggled with the face. Because I liked how the angle looked in the original, but it was hard to translate the angle that I got with the rough shapes, since it's the kind of the shape of the eye hole instead of the eye itself, and I always struggle with the, like, conversion of that for some reason. Also, when Cam was flipping it still looked very dynamic, and I liked that a lot. I think as I continue futzing, it loses a bit of that, but not all of it. But I really should have just kept it as is. Don't be like me. But yeah, the shapes of the face, it was a huge struggle. I ended up I think at the end of this stage with something I was happy with. But, you know, it's one of many stages. Just tell you right now. Also, this man has a he has some cute fangs going on, so got that in. I don't think I included that, but the priest has pointy ears, which is also very charming. It's those small details, and the face scarring on Clark is one of the things that just makes me go like, "Oh, he's loved." But again, I can be reading it wrong. But he looks very loved. I think it's fun. I'm always stricken by like the dynamicness of the thing when it's canvas flipped. I don't know if I saw that when I was working on it. I think maybe I should just work in like small portions of time, so I don't stare myself blind on it, on pieces. But I love just sitting down for like 5 hours at a time and working. There you can see I managed to kind of get the shape of the nose there, and that's one of the good things with flipping your canvas. Can make it work. I do really like how the angle of the face turned out. I think it's one of my favorite things with the piece. I don't know how much it changes, but probably not a lot. I think, however, that I changed, like, I lasso it at some point, which is a bit sad, because looking at it now, it looks perfectly fine. I also had fun with, like, the shape of his hair. It, like, worked with the composition pretty well. It's really the pose it's just such a catch. I don't know. It fit him a lot. I feel like, and again, it just with this piece, it's just such a textbook example of my bullshit. It really hammered home a bit. Just the pure core character of how I draw and what kind of stuff I draw. Yeah, the legs I was like weirdly hung up on. I saw, like, looking at the first sketch. Now, like, in hindsight, I figured out what line I missed that made it look good, or made it look the way I wanted it to. So, you know. But again, hindsight. Regardless, I think I ended up with a leg situation where I was pretty happy with. A weird hang-up I got at some point was how wide his hip looks. His hips looked. But that's perspective, and, you know, that was the thing I was fighting for. It's just typical. Even more hammers home just the core principles of my art. I've started to sketch with my line art brush. Because I found that it makes me faster. I don't really know why, but it does. I think maybe it's because the lines aren't as fussy, and it makes it easier to, like, pinpoint where the lines are, which is something that I think. I think that's what's behind a lot of, like, when you don't feel like you can replicate the sketch you did into line art. It's because of the wide lines that makes it hard to really see where the line art line should go. I said the word line there a lot, but he is just lines girl. Um, Now, after this sketch, how many sketches in am I? I don't know. After this sketch, I futzed with this. I took that entire part out. Otherwise, we would. This one was going to be 40 minutes. Otherwise, and it, it just, I didn't end up using it because I futzed a lot more with the sketch, and then I did the line art on it, and then I looked back on this sketch, and I was like, I like this more. So I was like, no, I'm gonna redo it. So you can see with this round of line art that it's fast, because that's what I just kind of had to do. I was like, okay, we're gonna redo it, but we're gonna redo it fast. Fast as fuck, boy. Fast as fuck, boy. I think I maybe get hang up on the hair here. The hair here. I feel like that has been a trend with my speed draw so far, is getting hung up on hair. But that's because the shapes, and it's so many shapes, and it should be represented in like long lines often. I don't know. I had a big like, how open should that shirt be? But I leaned into the absolute horror behavior of the post. I was like, we're gonna have it quite unbuttoned, because, again, that's why we're here. I was also thinking about doing a topless version, so if there is enough demand on that, I can do it and put it on my Patreon. I love him. Can we show you topless? And we go in and we color pick. I took away doing the flats for time. We're back to cutting things for time. So here I go in and I blot in blood for absolutely no reason, I promise. Explains his pose a bit more, maybe. Play do no harm. That's all I'm gonna say. Figuring out the blood is such a it's one of those moments where it's like you have to go into your brain and just think like, if the blood was coming from this angle and the character was in this position, where would the blood go? It just things you have to think about when you're an artist, I guess. I figured out the lighting too. I just wanted to use lighting to complement the perspective and the shape of his face, since he's very angular. And I go in with my favorite, my 30-30-40, and I just blob the blood, and then I blob some more blood where it would be more saturated. Rendering blood was a lot of, it took, I don't know how many hours I rendered blood for. But I think you can see also, like, now when the colors have come in, so character design. Just so character design. I love it. I really love it. I wanted to get a shirt texture when I rendered the blood, so I was out looking at like, where do I have any brushes with this texture? And I did find one, so I went in and like pushed it around a bit, erased some and added some, just to get it like I want it, get the texture there. I always have a hard time rendering blood. Is hard because you don't really want to look at references, right? But I think I ended up in a pretty good spot on the hands there, even if it took me a longer bit of time, because I didn't really know if I wanted like dripping, but I don't think it would make sense. Also, doing the droplets on the face and the neck was pretty fun. I figured out that you can smudge it using my brush, which is the the way that the 30-30-40 works really lends itself to that, as well as doing hair. I wasn't really sure if I should put blood on the chest, but I decided, like, no, it was covered by the shirt when the blood ended up there. I'm not gonna do it. It would kind of muddy it out with a hand there. I wasn't too picky with smoothing out these shadows, but and I think that turned out very well, especially on the shirt. I left a lot of hard lines there, and I barely touched it, and it turned out very nice. I think the front of the shirt is one of the things I'm very happy with. Just like with the priest, I had a lot of shading layers, which is it's pretty unpractical. You see a shape that's like, I don't really like it. I don't know where it comes from, and then you have to go through a bunch of it. I also had like 3 layers for the blood, I think. So it's just like, where is it? I was a bit like concerned about the lighting on the hair, just because I felt like it kind of his hair color disappeared in the red ad layer, and I was a bit like, I didn't really like that a lot. But I tried to figure out like a background. I was like, there is a perspective I want. And again, the first one looked great. I could have just stuck with that, but I continued to futz with it. And it turned out to be a much more of a process than I expected it to be, just because of how it exported. I'm not fucking with you. I spent 3 hours exporting different versions of this guy. I did a lot of different varieties of it. I don't know which ones I will use for the Patreon, because surprise ad read, because you can get both of these in poster sizes, high-res PNGs, on my Patreon. They're in A2 format, or this in American. But there's a bunch of them with different backgrounds and different color mixes and all of that. I will be showing them on screen. I think one of my favorites was the game accurate colors. I went back and color picked and just did from the like original colors because I wanted to see how it looks. And with that one, I added in like, I don't know what you would call it, but he has a bit of a different color at the end of his nose, and the eye bags are more pronounced in it than I had, like with color. So I liked how that looked. Essentially, it just took me back to the core root of all my bullshit. Just multiple sketches, too high FPS, spent like 2.5 hours on a sketch and line art I didn't use, and then 3 hours exporting PNGs. In the end, I'm extremely happy with it. Even more so than the Priest, I think. Turned out being like a fun perspective, just a very fun pose. I feel like there's a lot of like charm there. Very on. I think maybe my favorite part is the front of the shirt. Just because I feel like I got the texture and the shading there. I feel like it's at least recognizably Clark, not only in like basic character design features, but a bit in the face too. Which can be a bit of a challenge if you're doing a style conversion like this. The lighting, I feel like, did a lot to hide some more sneaky elements, like how the knife isn't super visible. And with that, we're done. So I really hope you enjoyed this very classically Honey Boy speeddraw, and getting introduced to these wonderful men, if you weren't a fan already. And if you are a fan, watching your favorite men be drawn. Although some parts was, although it might have been a bit of a painful or difficult process at times, I feel like in the end it was worth it. It definitely was. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. Don't forget to do no harm. Just fucking do no harm. Buy it and play it, because it's really fucking good. Every ending I feel like has had me like flabbergasted, and it's just a nice cozy horror time. And if you want more of me, you can check out my Twitch, where I stream as often as I can, not on a schedule, but as often as I can. You can also find the 16 to 19 hours of Do No Harm VODs on my VOD channel, Dear Darling Honeyboy Streams. I also have a Patreon, where you can get these as high-res PNGs, so if you want to put them on your walls, you can. On the Patreon, you can also hang out in a cool Discord with the other darling Patreons. Thank you to Erik Mellesdal and Dean Sabine for being just the best. And until next time, cheers. And welcome to another speeddraw. I'm, of course, back. I think my favorite is, no. Next up is a man simply, fuck, I don't really know how you should describe this man without spoilers. Do No Harm is a Lovecraftian horror doctor simulator where you when I die, export me as a PNG.